All right, hey students, this is another daily work video. So let's get into it. This assignment is called Equal Groups. So I hope you've been tracking the name of the homework. I've been trying to name it the same thing it is in the grade book. That way you can match the assignment names along the assignment names and titles and dates and things. So as you can see for this one, you did not have to do the top. There are some stretches that I actually like, but I already set a precedent for the class that I will not be doing any stretches. So kind of shot myself in the foot with that one. But I didn't want to do these, but there were some ones that came after this that I did want to do. But we're not going to do any of these this year. But you were supposed to do the review because STAR is coming up, and this homework here for this day was strictly for review purposes. It had nothing to do with the assignment we had did that day. It was to check to make sure you still remember something that had already been taught. That is very important for your next couple of years in school. So, once again, I am not going to read the directions. You're going to read the directions. I'm just going to give you some notes. And there are 8 of these, so I'm only going to do one because I really need you to do this on your own so that you kind of get an idea of what to do. Now, with that being said, I will do one that doesn't land on an actual line just to show you how this works. I'm trying to figure out what one I'm going to do. I'm going to do number 2. So, let's get some notes down. Now, first of all, this is one where you have to write an ordered pair. Now, if you don't know what an ordered pair is an X and Y coordinate with the X coming first, the Y coming second, and that tells me the location of your point. I know in social studies they talk about latitude and longitude. This is something like that because look, don't ask me which directions they go, but I do know one goes up and down, the other one goes left and right. And knowing the latitude and longitude of something will tell you or pinpoint you to that object's location on a map or on a globe. So if you wanted to find Houston, if someone told you the latitude and longitude, you would find a specific spot in Houston and what that represented or what was there if you looked, if you were to zoom in to that particular location. Now, this is called a coordinate plane. Coordinate planes, as you can see, the updated version since you got to middle school, because in elementary, you only had a piece of, and literally one piece of this. It was 1/4 of the entire coordinate plane. Coordinate planes are numbered from their upper right part. So this would be 1. So everything inside this X and Y is quadrant 1. Everything in this X and Y, because we number them counterclockwise. So on a clock, you would start here and you would work your way around the clock. Well, counterclockwise, we'll start here and work our way the opposite around the clock. This will be number 2. And once again, to remember these, you kind of just got to think of what's happening to the X and the Y because one of them is always changing when you move to a different quadrant. So the type of numbers you're dealing with in this quadrant are not the same type of numbers you're dealing with in this quadrant because something has changed. Then moving in our clockwise motion, when we get down here, this is quadrant 3. And yes, you will see them as Roman numerals if you didn't know what these were. That is this area within the X and Y. And then within this X and Y, we have number 4. There's only 4 quadrants. So if you kind of know what numbers each quadrant deals with, notice the letters that are in there. That will kind of help you understand what kind of numbers you need to be writing for your X and your Y coordinate. Now, I told you, for example, I am going to do M. Now, first off, I need to find M. M is right here. Now that I didn't found M, I need my X because the first thing that's going to go is the X. Please do not look for the Y first. You will be looking for this backwards. When you are doing coordinates, it's X first, Y second. Now, there is going to be a time and place when you get to the higher grade levels that some things may shift and switch, but this is why you have to study your vocabulary, because ordered pairs are X, comma, Y. So we got to do X first. X is the horizontal line that runs left and right. So X, left and right. So M is here. So as I move along, it looks like M dropped down right here in between these two lines. Now, the only problem with this is this doesn't have a lot of numbers. So remember what I taught you about how to find out what a coordinate plane tick mark is valued at. So first off, you need to identify a number you know. You could choose 0. You should always know this one, because where X and Y, the actual axis meets, is 0, 0. So you should always know this one that's in the very center of the two axes. But if you don't want to use that one, it's okay. You can use something else. So I can use -4 and -8 if you don't want to use 0. So I did -4. I skipped a line, and then I went -8. Well, what could I possibly be counting by that I did -4, skip, then -8? Well, obviously I might be doing 2, because -4, -6, -8 seems to be a good pattern, and it actually works. I was able to get to from -4 to -8 without really changing a beat. So -6. So that means -4 blank 0. So this has to be -2. Now, here's the thing about it. M is between -2 and -3. Well, what is in between -2 and -3? Sorry. What is in between -2 and -4? Let me rephrase that. What is in between -2 and -4? It's -3. So on my X, they went -2, then got to -3 and dropped down because it's right there in the middle. Now, if you're not sure that it's in the middle, I will tell you all of these dots are in the middle, in between these numbers, okay? Just to help you out a little bit. Now that I found my X, let's find that good old Y. So Y is vertical. Y goes up and down. X goes left and right. Y goes up and down. So now I need to figure out how far I went down, because I went down. I definitely didn't go up. So I passed -4 and I went in the middle. And then we have this line. Well, just in case X and Y are not counting by the same thing, and I've even told you in class, that is possible. It is allowed. They don't necessarily have to count by the same thing. They can be counting by different numbers. I have to verify what Y is counting by to make sure I don't make a mistake and assume they are counting by the same thing. Because once again, that doesn't have to be the case. They can be counting by different numbers. So for this one, I went from -4, skipped the line, and then went to -8. So -4, -6, -8 fits the pattern. -4, skip to 0, which would also give me -2. So 0, -2, -4, -6, -8 seems to fit the pattern of what I can count by. And it makes sense with the numbers that have already been given to me. So M is right here in between -4 and -6. So what number is in between -4 and -6? That would be -5. And then I'm done. I have successfully identified the position of point M. And you simply just have to do this for every other point that is here. Identify the X, identify the Y, and then you're done. So that is all for this assignment. Once again, if you need further help, I would suggest you ask a classmate in class that understands this concept a little bit more than you do, Or if you don't want to ask a classmate and just want me to do it, then let me know and I'll see what I can do. Bye.